Half a day, welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Tyler Matsinani, so glad you could join us. A motion to sever was granted for former USDA employee John Hobart Lawrence for his role in a scheme to rig bids for UOG federally funded projects. Hobart, along with his daughter, Janica Lawrence, and retired University of Guam professor Thomas Marler were initially indicted on wire fraud and money laundering charges. According to the order, in this case, the United States argues that severance is warranted because it intends to introduce at trial Lawrence's statements to federal agents that directly incriminate both Marler and Janica. Hobart is accused of conspiracy to restrain trade and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Trial for John Lawrence will proceed as scheduled on August 17th before Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood. Trials for Thomas Marler and Janica Lawrence will follow thereafter before Judge John Coffinor. It's a bill that author Tello Taitagui says is meant to level the playing field in the election of Guam Visitor Bureau board members. A public hearing was held on Taitagui's measure that removes multiple voting rights, which she says makes it difficult, if not impossible, for small businesses to win a seat. Currently, companies can buy membership to GVB for $100 and receive one vote for the board. Taitagui suggests that allows larger companies to buy control over the balloting for the 4 elected board members. GVB board chairman Milton Morinaga disputes that.
We have no information to suggest that GVB's elected director voting process has resulted in some contributing members being treated less equally than other contributing members. GVB values the input and participation of all members.
He also testified that if the intent of the bill was to increase the opportunities for small business representation, then the legislature should mandate that more of the appointed members be selected from the small business community. Currently, the governor appoints 5 members and the legislature picks 3, which is 8 of the 12 total board members. As the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act inches closer to passage in the U.S. Senate, Pacific Association of Radiation Survivors head Robert Celestial is working to spread the word about who is eligible for compensation if the act passes. Anyone who lived on Guam for a year from 1946 to 1962, or anyone who has any of the cancers associated with downwinder nuclear fallout is eligible to receive $150,000 and free medical care should the RECA pass. Celestial tells The Link this has been a long and hard-fought battle for compensation for downwinders, a term for populations that have been exposed to fallout from nuclear bomb detonations. In Guam's case, it was bomb tests conducted by the U.S. in the Marshall Islands in the 50s.
Mike Ivy testing, it's a 10.4 megaton detonation in Inuitak that 3 days later, Guam was inundated with nuclear fallout, but kept secret because he was under a Q clearance. Q clearance is a top secret clearance under the AEC. And so what happened was, after I compiled all the information for Guam, I submitted it to our local government and said that Guam needs to be included in the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. And that was the beginning.
Guam's inclusion in RECA was based on sworn testimony Celestial secured from Lieutenant Bert Schreiber, a radiation and chemical officer stationed on Guam in 1952. Celestial will be leading an outreach for interested and eligible individuals on July 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Tamuning Mayor's office. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency is finally cleaning up what the Guam Department of Agriculture installed 50 years ago. We bring you more on Coco's Lagoon Tire Reef from Maritsu.
An artificial reef composed of junk tires was constructed in the 70s by the Department of Agriculture. The idea behind the installation was to increase the fish stock in the Cocos Lagoon area, as well as give a foundation for coral to thrive. But after a few years of assessment and monitoring, scientists discovered the intent wasn't being met. In 2018, Guam EPA's Environmental Monitoring and Analytics Service Program decided to go after a competitive grant offered through the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association Marine Debris Removal Program. Guam EPA's Nick Lee.
The grant was awarded in 2019 for about $250,000, and all of that funding will be used towards the removal and disposal of the tires in the reef.
An estimate of about 2,500 tires make up the reef. And not only was the man-made barrier ineffective, but it brought more stress. According to Lee, there is some cause for concern in strong tidal events that the tires could become dislodged, displaced, and damage other coral reef structures in the lagoon.
There's also concern about chemicals leaching from the tires being out there that long. So we have this great opportunity to work with NOAA to get funding to get this thing out of there.
In the first few days of action, contractors staged their equipment and installed barriers to control sediment so that other aquatic wildlife in the area remains undisturbed.
So far, there have been 3 or 4 loads of tires that have come out. The tires are taken to the contractor's facility in Agate where they're processed before they're transported to for final disposal with Guahan Waste Control. We could see this for several more days, depending on the conditions down there and whatever obstacles that the contractor runs into while they're in the water.
As for the future long-term solution, Lee says they haven't approached that topic yet, but we can count on the leadership to look at a better alternative, rather than dumping discarded tires out in our waters.
The ocean should not serve as a dumping ground for your waste, and neither should the jungles for that matter.
Are you looking for ways to stay productive and give back to the community? If so, the Guam Green Growth invites you to participate in weekly village cleanups. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan has this report.
As part of their efforts to prepare the island for the emerging green economy, the Guam Green Growth Conservation Corps will be hosting island beautification events within the villages weekly until November. According to Dr. Austin Shelton, director of the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Sea Grant, the 12 members of the G3 Conservation Corps have been doing projects daily across the island like agriculture, aquaculture, energy efficiency, forestry, and the removal of invasive species for the past 4 weeks. One of the regular activities that the program will be doing weekly is an island beautification cleanup within the villages in partnership with the Office of the Governor, the Island-Wide Beautification Task Force, the Mayor's Council of Guam, and the Guam Visitors Bureau. During the Island Beautification Task Force meeting Tuesday, Dr. Shelton asked the community to come join the members of the program, who will meet in Barrigada across from the Happy Mart area, making their way north to pick up trash at 8 a.m. this Friday, July 16th.
We also sort the recyclables and make sure that they get into the iRecycle bins somewhere in the village that Peggy generously picks up, and make sure that the donations from those aluminum cans get to our local schools. So please, if you have any volunteer groups or people who want to be a part of these island beautification cleanups every Friday, Barrigada this week, Mangmang Totomaiti next Friday, and Mangilau the Friday after that to round out the month. And we'll have our August schedule shortly after that.
Interested participants can sign up online at their website at guamgreengrowth.org. Derero, Manila, and East Sagana are some of the locations that they've cleaned up so far. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
Let's turn to national headlines as the U.S. Surgeon General issued the first health advisory of the Biden administration. Dr. Vivek Murthy is calling for a war against COVID misinformation as the Delta variant is on the rise. Natalie Brand has more details from Washington, D.C.
Today, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory.
The U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, calls health misinformation an urgent threat to public health, saying American lives are at risk.
It's painful for me to know that nearly every death we are seeing now from COVID-19 could have been prevented. I say that as someone who has lost 10 family members to COVID-19 and who wishes each and every day that they had had the opportunity to get vaccinated.
The Surgeon General cited a study which says even brief exposure to misinformation made people less likely to want a COVID-19 vaccine.
2/3 of people who are not vaccinated either believe common myths about the COVID-19 vaccine or think some of those myths might be true.
This comes as new cases are up double digits in nearly every state, and they're up 50% or more in 32 states.
We anticipated that we would see in areas with high vaccination, low case rates, and now we see in areas of low vaccination, very high case rates.
There's also increasing concern about low vaccination rates among adolescents. About 25% of 12 to 15-year-olds have been fully vaccinated as students prepare to return to the classroom.
In many states, there are different policies for how these teens will get vaccinated. Some haven't, prioritized it. Some don't have the information. Some parents want to have more information about this vaccine for younger kids.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky believes if people take action now, we can avoid a spike in cases this fall. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Stay tuned. Next on Weekend Edition, we have our Culture Club segment, and still to come, our Sports Roundup with Dave Delgado.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus, we have the perfect Jeep for your summer adventures. Whether you're going off-road or just getting ready to hit the beach down south, make this the summer event you find your Jeep, like the 2021 Jeep Wrangler or the 2021 Jeep Gladiator. Equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. Call us at 477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to schedule a test drive today. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Welcome back. Due to popular demand, we are thrilled to bring back the Culture Club. And tonight we introduce you to Edward Leon Guerrero of Pulan Speaks.
Culture Club, brought to you by Hanem.
Buenas and Hafaday, Wahu Si Pulan, or my real name is Edward Leon Guerrero. And I make YouTube videos about the Chamorro language, about the Chamorro people, about the Chamorro culture. For most of my life, I didn't really care about the Chamorro language, about the Chamorro culture. It wasn't until one incident in 2015 which changed my entire perspective on everything. And that was when my Nanahu Biha, my grandma, passed away. One of the greatest regrets that I have is to not be able to speak to her in her own language. And it's a regret that's still with me today. And because of that, I dedicated myself that I will learn the Chamorro language no matter what. No matter the amount of people who tease me, which believe me, there's a lot of them. No matter the struggles, no matter the obstacles. When I wanted to learn Japanese back in high school, I would search up on YouTube and I would find dozens of lessons on the Japanese, but yet I couldn't really find anything on the Chamorro language. And so that's what inspired me to create a YouTube channel called Pulan Speaks in order to get people who are in the same boat as me, to give them a resource so they too could learn the Chamorro language. And it has greatly evolved since, because I don't just make only Chamorro language lessons. I also make history videos about the culture, videos pertaining, for example, to the ancestral origins of the Chamorro people. There's a lot of books out there, but they're not easily accessible, or they're not in a format which is easily digestible. I don't want to be part of the generation that gave up. I don't want to be an active participant in watching our unique Chamorro heritage die. No one in this world, no one but us cares about our people. And let's do something about it. We must never give up. We must never lose hope. We must never tire. One of my uncles, when I spoke to him in Chamorro, and as we spoke to each other in Chamorro, he told me, Edward, Gof Banadosutsu, Nuhagu. I am very proud of you for speaking the language, for attempting to learn, for trying. An encouragement like that from my family members is what helps me to keep going. What I advise you to do is first, go to your elders and talk to them. Ask them about their history. Ask them about their experiences here in the Marianas, about their experiences growing up in the 70s, in the 80s. Get that personal connection from your family members, from your elders. The second thing I'll recommend is check out my YouTube channel. But other than my YouTube channel, there's a vast amount of other resources. For example, at the University of Guam, there's other books. And that's why with the YouTube channel, I try to summarize and condense the information. But yes, so of course, number one, go to the elders. You know, they're a lot smarter than me. I just make videos on YouTube, and then just check out my channel too for some information. My name is Edward Leon Guerrero, the founder of Pulan Speaks, and I am a proud member of the KUAM Cultural Club.
You can see this and future Culture Club segments on KUAM's digital platforms. Up next, we have sports. Don't go away.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
While we've all been through a lot over the years, typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19, we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years, Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
And the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Guam swimmers Maneri Gomez and Jagger Stevens will be representing the island at this year's Olympic Games in Tokyo. Stevens and Gomez were able to train for 2 months in Thailand before heading out to Japan, thanks to the GNOC and the Guam Swimming Federation.
Had they not stepped up and everything, they would have been where both athletes, Jagger and Maneri, would be still on Guam. But because they were the opportunities there, provided by GNOC and supported by Guam Swim Federation, the ability to go to Thailand, and as we were talking earlier, to Jagger, you know, he had mentioned, man, there was a big time difference. And I'm sure also Maneri would echo the same thing, that it was a big chance for them, a great blessing, the opportunity to be there, and it was made available to them.
Miguel Alvarado was their coach in Thailand, while the first-time Olympians trained at the Sports and Health Resort in Phuket.
Being able to have this opportunity to go to Thailand, it really worked out for us. I mean, the facility was fantastic. The coaches were even more fantastic. What I was saying was how they are FINA coaches. They're employed by FINA. And if you know the swimming world, then you know that FINA is kind of like the governing body of swimming. So you knew that they were the real deal no matter what. And it definitely showed.
Jagger will compete in the men's 100-meter freestyle, while Maneri will be representing Guam in the women's 100-meter freestyle.
Thailand, jumping from the ocean to the pool water was a big change. At first, I had very hard time adjusting, but the coaches in Thailand were amazing at their jobs and were able to help us adjust to the schedule there and get on top on what we were supposed to do. So I think their support has been great that we were able to be where we're at right now.
Team Guam and the FSM swimmers have been training alongside one another. After leaving Thailand, the two teams have been getting in some quality time in the pool in the city of Miyama, Japan.
We were doing dryland work and lift sessions, even beyond the pool, and we had four in a week. And you know what this stuff really is good for is just kind of, number one, like rounding out our strength in different areas. It also helps like really focus on certain muscle groups or muscle types, and also, you know, at least for like a sprinter like myself, weight training, especially like specific kinds of weight training, can really help with explosiveness. And, you know, just that kind of like focus of getting off of a wall, or just like the back end speed of being able to have that endurance.
This will be the biggest stage of his swimming career. Having swam for Brown University, this is a new element of excitement and fear. One of Jagger's goals is to beat his personal best time of 51:50.
It's just popping up in my head all the time, keeping me up at night. You know what I mean? Like it's exciting in a lot of ways, but but man, there's a lot of mental weight with it.
For Maneri, it's the experience she will gain and chance to enjoy her first Olympic Games.
So my goal is definitely being able to drop my time and obviously beat my personal best, but at the same time, I want to enjoy and experience since this is my very first time, I would definitely want to make the best out of it and just enjoy. I'm definitely feeling the pressure. I'm definitely very nervous, but at the same time, I can't wait to jump in being able to compete in the Olympic Games.
I'd like to personally thank, and also on behalf of Maneri, give a huge thank you to Guam Swimming Federation as well as Guam National Olympic Committee, just for, you know, doing all of the logistical work that, quite frankly, I could not do. Like, well, all we have to do is perform, and they have to do immensely more, even beyond that. Like they just get us to the place. They get us to the place, and all we have to do is get in the water. So it's a huge thank you to them. I'd also like to personally thank St. John's School for giving us the opportunity to use their pool. I realized that this was like during the thick of COVID, so it was a very, very kind gesture.
I want to thank GNLC, GSF, and Oceania for supporting Team Guam and allowing us to send us to Thailand and have a wonderful facility there, and even have the opportunity to train under a FINA coach, and also the Miyama and Yanagawa city for hosting us and allowing us to swim and train at their cities, and also definitely our parents, friends, coaches in Guam for always supporting us and bringing us to where we're at right now.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels, that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Get up and move, Guam! Join the mayors of Talifofon, Inilahan for Haan and Minagov, a great day to celebrate the reopening of our island at the Valley of the Ladi, Saturday, July 31st from 10 to 5 p.m. Local artists, farmers, and Guam-made products will be on hand while you enjoy performances from our best cultural entertainers and musicians. Enjoy the finest food that Southern Guam has to offer. Help us open our newest attraction, the Micronesia Cultural Village. Tickets can be purchased online at valleyoftheLadi.com. Haan and Minagov is brought to you by the Guam Visitors Bureau, Guam Economic Development Authority, Valley of the Ladi, Jungle Riverboat Cruise, Kloppenburg Enterprises, Para Ipribetsu Itautauta, the Guam Brewery, Island Beverage Distributors, and the stations of KUAM.
Welcome back. This week on My Liberation Heroes, we feature a submission from family members of Laura Camacho Scambaluri Nelson.
My Liberation Hero, brought to you by Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Ordot Dental Clinic, and Vince Jewelers. The family writes, Laura Camacho Scambaluri was born in 1910 to Marcelo Vidal Scambaluri and Joaquina Deza Camacho. She had 9 brothers and sisters. The family lived on Guam, and Laura would eventually marry Peter M. Nelson. Laura and Peter had several children. In 1943, she and her children were rounded up and forced to march to Menangan. A loyal family friend, Beatrice Ting Garrido, who helped Laura with their children, was also forced to march. As for Peter, he was forced into hiding in the jungles of Jigo with the Taitano family. Laura's father was taken to a prisoner of war camp also in 1943. Her children described this time as one with little food or even clothing, a marked change from the pre-war time of plenty. After liberation, Laura and Peter opened Laura's Store, a retail business in Mongmong. This remarkable woman died in 1997. She is our liberation hero. My Liberation Hero, brought to you by Coast 360 Federal Credit Union, Ordot Dental Clinic, and Vince Jewelers.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
You know what this weekend is, right? It's the weekend before Liberation Day, and it's also a happy birthday for Renza Lemuel. Happy birthday, Renza, from your family, and they all say they love you. Renza was born on Saturday. Then on Sunday, July 18th, happy birthday to Major Taikenko from your family. And Zoe Cruz, who celebrates birthday number 10. Zoe Jane, your family is sending you all of their love. Happy birthday, one and all.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. That's all the time we have from all of us here at KUAM. Thanks for watching and have a safe weekend.